welcome to Hyperefficient Startup, a podcast where production value grows minute by minute. So, yeah. Case in point. So today we're going to talk about some technical stuff. Mostly, probably tomorrow will be a more business-centric episode. So if you're only here for business, then what is wrong with you? So we had this thing where there was a series of patches to our secret manager, and basically what our employee has done was basically update our fork of the secret manager that we use, distributed secret manager, with the current upstream. And there weren't many commits. I think there were like 5 or something, 8 maybe, something like this. And also significant improvements, like for example, we didn't notice that passfail actually doesn't really work with elliptic curve cryptography. So apparently, in Ante, or what's the name of the company, they only were using RSA, but people in my company are using ECDSA, and it wouldn't verify. Like you can check this commit, for example. This one maybe. Yeah, here we go. So it kind of just had hard coded using RSA key in the parser, which was replaced. So this introduced a breaking change, or rather, using elliptic curves introduced a breakage into our current passfail, right? So obviously we needed to fetch the new passfail to work, but the problem was that then we updated GPG, and like GPG is because we're using old Ubuntu, and this is a good design decision, like good infrastructure decision, because we kind of want to make sure that we have a uniform system for all our employees. So we have like one standardized blast system that against which we check that stuff works, and everyone has to work against like a certain version of Ubuntu LTS, which we will be upgrading to the 2404. But nonetheless, we obviously use Nix, and with Nix you can pin versions, so it also is not a problem, right? So yeah, when we updated passfail, there was a discrepancy between how different versions of GPG2 are printing data about signature checks, and while testing the new build, I was trying to figure out which version works, which version doesn't work. So I used Home Manager I updated. So I tried to update my GPG with Home Manager, but my Home Manager was really broken. And basically what it would show is that it would say that it can't find this expression. Home manager.nix. So it couldn't find this in Nix path. So I was like, okay, well, this is a spoiler. Let me see. Yeah, so I went like export Nix path equals dot colon Nix path, and then I ran it again. It could find this, but it couldn't find Nix packages then, which again I'm not like entirely well, obviously the reason for that is that the installation of Home Manager and Nix here was made even before the cool installer was released. And I'm like 100% sure actually that the installation of Nix on this server happened before Nix community figured out how to enable installation of like multi-user Nix on on Ubuntu servers, for example. And of course, this is a problem in terms of like how reliable this deployment is, right? Because obviously, like when you have several people using a computer, which is the case for servers like this one, which is like an orchestration server, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. Obviously, you want for everyone to have access to Nix, rather than having everyone to sign into a shared user, which is kind of fine. I mean, we obviously will redeploy it. Actually, we're working with a startup called CloudSoul to procure their tool to see if we can basically remove entirely the friction of like getting cheap but efficient cloud instances, because like this is the reason why we are overpaying to DigitalOcean actually, because their user interface is super user friendly, and like obviously it costs more to us to run our infra there, but like it's really like friendly to people who are just doing business, who don't want to navigate huge like a Google Cloud, for example, consoles. Even though I learned Google Cloud Console for ICFPC, I wouldn't say that I'm like comfortable with, for instance, with AWS, right? And probably AWS is a bit cheaper, but I don't know. So anyway, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at moving this server, and then obviously we will not have this problem, right, of like being stuck in single user Nix mode forever. So since the install is really, really ancient, when I did this, so basically what this is, I'll explain to you how I got this. So basically what I did, so archive, so any repository on GitHub, it has archive. So you can take your favorite repository like /Linux, for example. Don't do this. The archive will be huge. And then write /archive /any commit hash and then tar.gz, and you will get the contents of the repository. This is literally what I've done yesterday. So I went to I went here. Oops, ma'am. Then I took a commit hash. And then I replaced this with archive and this with tar.gz, and then I got the archive. Bam. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. And I mean, this is a very jackass. I don't know why does it have to be like this. So this is like a disclaimer. I actually don't even remember how different Nix tools are reading from the variable called Nix path. For some reason, I thought that stuff like this is set up with, like when I was young, it was set up with this binary. But apparently you can Nix path stuff, and then your various Nix tools will consume stuff from there correctly. So after that was done, I was able to run Home Manager build, and basically what it said is like, bro, I don't fucking understand any of the expressions that you're trying to get me to evaluate. And I scratched my head for a while. And I realized that, of course, Home Manager was also installed very, 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 very long ago. So Home Manager must also be outdated. So then what I've done is crazy, like, desperation trick, right? I read Home Manager documentation and I was like, so I know that I have a clone of Home Manager here, right? So I went to Home Manager, I went git pull origin mword, and then I wrote nix shell home manager -a install. And actually I wonder, like, let's go to tmp. I wonder if that will somehow like echo nix path, let's say. Ah, interesting. Let's write this. It's the same thing twice, by the way, just in case you wonder. Okay. So I don't have any channels set up. This is hilarious. Okay, well, I don't have channels set up. Cool. Well, okay. Like, if I don't have channels set up, then let's try to install Home Manager once again. Okay, that's really cool, I guess. Let's try to go home, and then let's do this. Okay, and now if I do... So I've done this. Yeah, see? So, like, if you have... so basically, if you have your little nix packages, sorry, your little dot in the path, then it shall evaluate home manager flake.nix. And then it will basically be able to install it. Why does it not have like any information about how it gets installed? Maybe build default HM package. Actually, let's because also you have to observe that this is old nix shell. Yeah, this is really weird. I kind of don't understand. Oh, so it's just... But I'm kind of really confused. How the fuck does it know that it has to include this? So my hypothesis is there's a nix file here, default nix, that includes install. Yep. Ayo. Cool. Yeah, so basically when we're running like old school nix shell and then we do -a, then we say find home manager in nix path, and then it will have like default.nix, and then -a means in default.nix find an attribute nix. Install. Right, when we say -a install, it will find install attribute in default.nix, which happens to import home manager install from the subdirectory, and we're very happy. We're very happy because now we can install home manager. And let me just make sure that I didn't fuck things up. So the funny thing is that after you install home manager, basically what happens is that it replaces binaries and like reactivates the home manager binary in your current installation, which basically is the same as like repinning, right? So you can ignore this probably. It's actually kind of funny because we probably want to do something about it because these are like stale sockets and it's weird, but any fucks. So it repins home manager. When it repinned home manager, it was like I ran home manager switch and it returned empty list here, even though I had home manager configured before. And the word of caution for the viewers, the reason why that happened was because so it is now here. And by the way, there is a handy tool called edit, and it will tell you where your config lives, right? See here, config home nix, blah blah blah. But it used to be in a very fucking weird place. It used to be config nix packages home nix. It used to be here, and my config used to look like this, right? Oh, speaking of which, probably want to make sure that dranf is actually shipped with home manager. So yeah, so the old config was in a different place. So when I updated home manager, it just couldn't find the config. So it made a new generation of the system where it basically removed all my packages, right? So then basically what I did was I figured out that, okay, that the configuration path changed. I backported configuration, and it was very easy because actually my configuration is shared between my installs in my nbin repository in Cognivore GitHub. So basically I just added pin entry curses here, and I probably should actually oh, well, it says we have done what it says on the team on the tin, and actually this is a bit of a spoiler because yeah, the next thing that we were doing, we were fixing GPG. What the fuck is this? This is false. Okay, so let's merge some stuff on stream, whatever. Status. Continue. Well, actually, okay. Let's be good eggs and go HM build. Just to make sure that we didn't break the shit out of our configuration before we balls. Why the fuck is it trying to install Python 2? Like, what the actual shit? Also, what the fuck is this Node.js? Who asked? I'm not convinced that I even want this to be globally installed. I can't imagine myself using this without Flake, so I'm also not, I don't know, man, I don't know. Let's try again on top of creep. I wonder if I can allow unfree in home manager. Home manager allow unfree. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-bam. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. We're not adding impure, fuck's sake. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I probably want to probably want to somehow, but I don't have an access to actual configuration. Anyway, I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine. Like, the error is pretty clear, so I don't think that anyone will be upset. What will happen when I delete this? I don't give a shit, honestly. What the fuck was that even? Okay. We can finally continue rebase, and we can push origin main. Okay, cool. So we got home manager working, but then the next problem was that even though we have managed to converge GPG2 and pin entry, it just wouldn't give us it just wouldn't give us the you know, the shell, the pin entry, you know, wouldn't work, right? So basically, what I figured out is that my magical command of like killing all GPGs and then restarting GPG agent with pin entry program. First of all, I have to actually provide the correct path to pin entry program here. But then I also realized that I can just as well put it here, right? And then when I did, now I kind of don't need to even tell GPG agent where pin entry is. But after I've done this, I had the IPC and like input output control errors where it just couldn't figure out from where to read. And I actually do not understand. I thought that maybe it's because I'm in a shell in a shell. So then I exited a shell in a shell and I just got into a normal flat shell. And then it still was complaining about IOCTL. Then I figured that there's a variable called GPG-TTY, and that if I proxy, like if I forward my TTY, so this one, to sorry, I meant this one, right? The thing that returns file handle of current TTY. And it's, yeah, I have like a huge text about IO in Linux available online already via secret link, but my dream is to someday, you know, put together a nice little journal, nice little zine, whatever. So this TTY, it points to the current console that we're interacting with. You can forward this variable to GPG TTY, and then it's not confused about IOCTL anymore. So now pin entry would work. But the problem is that I was so sporadic about testing and rebooting GPG agent that I got into a situation where GPG agent just like wouldn't boot. And then there are this bunch of commands. So for example, so this is boring. Wait, GPG. There's this like really cool command where you can just check if it's running. Maybe we could do verbose by well, let's do kill all minus r GPG. Yeah, see, like basically when you do this, um, when you do this, it will show you that it's actually starting a new instance of GPG agent. It will also tell you the path to it. Now just to check, we can like val sync. Hopefully there are some changes. No, there aren't. Well, we can val insert, val test. This is a test. All right, I'll mute microphone, and actually I'll make it invisible and mute microphone. Yeah, so it worked, and it inserted this. We inserted this secret, and now everything works. Pin entry works. It's all great. And you have noticed that we didn't even need to tell where pin entry is because we have configured it in our GPG configuration. Yeah, that was actually maybe even the video to explain what I have done took me longer for me to do it, but I think this is a pretty instructional way to learn a little bit about basically making sure that different versions of your software are aligned, and how to use Nix to get out of dependency hells, and what can go wrong when you upgrade your secret manager. So yeah, thank you for watching, and enjoy your week.